Advantage podcast about woodworking, good times, and general jackassery. With your host, Jess of Jess Build It, Colton of Colt Crit, and Ross of R&C Woodworking and Design. You can find us all on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and Grindr. And now, for episode 86, Harry Poplar and the Sourcerer, Cypress.
Very good name.
You like that?
I do. Like
it came
that.
to me about 8 minutes ago.
I'm glad that we are doing the some of the Harry Potters. We need to do a lot of those.
Yeah, me and Crystal just did a Harry Potter marathon recently with all the holidays stuff, and this is a good one. And for our listeners, if you can't tell by the intro, our menage a trois is now a double.
Yeah, that's right.
Double. Yeah, Ross is out this week.
Just a couple. Yeah.
He had just about had enough. Oh, skiing?
He's doing lines. Yeah, in Utah.
Cutting the fresh pow.
I am jelly. I'm very jelly of him. I do want to do it, although I've hurt my knee recently, so I wouldn't have been able to go now anyway, but I would like to go again. I was born in Denver, so.
Yeah, you're a skier, not a snowboarder, right?
I'm not anything anymore. I haven't done any of it in so long. I would have to start all over again, but I would like to try.
No, man, it's like riding a bike.
I don't think so.
It's easy. You just gotta go down.
I was never very good at skiing. Although,
just don't go down too fast. Yeah.
I played my drums is like that. Like I play, but you lose your chops after you don't play for a while.
Yeah.
Muscle memory is kind of there, but yeah,
I'd
love to go again.
Have you ever installed or uninstalled or worked on a pool table, like a serious like Brunswick pool table?
No.
So
I did have a friend. I helped a friend put together one time,
like with the three slates and all that.
It was and
nice.
It was
and
pretty.
You
serious.
had to staple the upholstery.
Yeah. It was, but that was a long time ago. I was a teenager then. It was his dad that had bought it, and we kept trying to make sure we set it so that the sticks didn't hit the walls, because it wasn't exactly like a super giant space.
Yeah,
we had to make sure we set it up where you could play. Why? I heard you were working on it last week, weren't you?
Yeah. So not until just recently, but we've had two very serious, probably 10+ grand worth pool tables.
Okay.
And we reupholstered them and moved them out, refinished all the bumpers, and we didn't touch the rubber, but just all the wood parts, our normal strip refinished. I don't think we stripped it, but like a scuff and refinish color, repair any damages. But the upholstery on the bumpers was incredibly difficult, and which, it wasn't that bad for me. I was trying to get one of our guys to do it, and it was one of those things one of the guys who's kind of moving up into a supervisor role.
Okay.
Right. And so I can get my head out of the weeds a little bit. Right. And I was like, all right, I'll be over here, man. I was working on a specialty project, and it's like, if you need me, let me know. And he's like, all right. And I don't know. Here's one thing. I was kind of offended at first. So he decided to go to YouTube instead of to me. Right. Which I get it. I'm not a pro, but I've been walking through this.
He wanted to take initiative.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's conflicting, right? On one hand, it's like, what, do you think I'm a joker over here? But on the other hand, he took initiative and he was trying to learn it and do it, and not just be like, okay, it's not simple, help me, But yeah, so I was a little bit at first I was offended, and then I was, like you said, took initiative. But yeah, that upholstery, and it's, when you buy new upholstery, you don't get second chances on it. And it's real easy to start messing it up, because it's like that special, there's a term for it, like some sort of speed felt or something.
Okay.
But
the lower pile. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one side's really rough and you put that side inside, right? But some parts you got to stretch it real tight, and some parts, but not too tight where it pulls, and you can pull it too hard to where it bends the rubber a little bit.
Okay.
And yeah, well, long story short, poor Beto messed it up, and I had to redo a lot of it, and I think we're gonna end up having to buy new felt for this table. But It was a learning curve for everybody.
Well, I would imagine you've never done a pool table and they just send you to go do a pool table. That's not exactly something you just get.
Well, I was walked through. I had a soft intro into it, but which well, I mean, like, I think I could have figured it out, but with having help, it was a little tougher. But yeah, but those slates are incredibly difficult, and they're so easy to break a corner off.
Yes.
And we did have to do some repair on one of the slates, which was kind of interesting. Luckily, it was on a non-crucial part, like where the ball's not really rolling. But yeah, it is neat.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I have this lady wanted a puzzle table. So basically, it's a dining room table that she just wants to be able to remove some slats, not even a big piece either because she's older and she can't pick it up. And it'd be like this felt, like 4-inch deep pocket.
Oh, for like
to play games in,
like a game table. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a circle or octagon?
It is. So this is where I always kick myself in the butt, right? So, I decided she wanted it walnut, specifically said walnut. And I said, what are you, like a mid-century fan? She said, yeah. And I said, okay. And I said, so why don't we so basically it's 72 by 48, but then it will have a slight like arc taper from one end to the other on the long side, and then a bigger arc on either end, and then radius corners. So if you look straight down at it, I was looking at it at SketchUp. It kind of looks like an old TV screen.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that, but with like rounded corners, that's kind of what the shape reminds me of.
Man.
And so, so I drew it at SketchUp. I'm like, that's perfect. That's what I want. I'm like, wait, how am I going to make that? So I figured out how I'm going to make it. Well, we'll talk about that on another podcast. But and then it's going to recess down a little bit with like a plywood box that you won't see underneath. The aprons will cover that, right? And then I also decided to do a chamfered edge all the way around that edge of the table,
right,
at a 45 with a 3/8 lip. And then it's going to have tapered legs that come out, a little bit.
Dude, that is going to look so angle. Good.
Yeah, I think it's walnut? It's all walnut. Oh, and then the inside will be felt. And I think she wanted blue felt. So navy blue, felt. Yeah. So we're going to do felt on the inside, which I've done that before.
How are you going to do the felt?
Well, it's a lot easier for me. I'm not doing a pool table.
Yeah.
But I use the Gorilla Spray adhesive or the 3M. There's one that 3M makes.
Adhesive.
Okay. Yeah, 3M makes one that's really, like, you'll look and there's levels, and it's like the most expensive one. And you spray both sides, and it acts kind of like contact cement. And then you just lay it out and you roll it. It'll be fine.
All right.
And then I'll wrap the two sides. And then I got to make a little spot for the little planks to fit in there so she can use it as a dining table. Just have a little lip. And then they can set the planks on that when they're not using it as a puzzle table.
So it sounds like it might be kind of set up for like a poker table almost.
She likes to do puzzles.
Oh,
with her grandkids.
Like okay.
And she said, and we play a lot of games, so that way when you throw the dice, it doesn't come out. So right. I'm going to draw it all in SketchUp and give it to her. But I started, and it's like I get started and I get pulled out, and I get started and I get pulled out.
Yeah. But I know I've said on here before, but I can't wait to just have the time and, like, I don't know, the shop time and the client to build just like a $10,000 like Dungeons and Dragons table with like resin and like embedded LEDs and like different segments. And I've seen some really cool ones online, but I would love to, just have like a no bars held project like that. Oh,
I'll tell you something crazy I was thinking about, because at this point I've made so many different things in so many different ways. And a customer came in and she was like looking at some things on Wayfair and IKEA and Ashley Furniture. And she's like, we want a table, but we want it to look like this. And she's like, they're just junk. And we're thinking maybe we'll just pay, to have a custom table. And I said, okay. So we talked about it. And I don't think she's going to do it because I just don't think she understood how much a custom table cost, a
Yeah.
well made, because I was going to make it out of ash instead of out of pine. And then, anyway, that's beside the point. I was looking at turned legs because there's some really nice websites where these guys all over the country make turned legs.
Yeah.
And, like a father and son business, and they make turned legs, and you can get like different woods. And as I was searching for legs, some of these guys put their stuff on Amazon, which is cool. And then some of them, I found you can buy trestle legs, like a trestle table leg, like a big, beautiful, solid wood, mortised and tenon trestle base, like one end of it, made out of maple, made out of red oak, made out of pine, out of rubber wood, all kinds of different kinds of woods for like $250, $300.
Yep.
There's no way I can, and it looks almost CNC'd. It's so perfect. There's no way that I can make it. So I'm going to start incorporating some of those images, like when people want to get tables done, because I can just buy the bases and stain them and finish them, and then add like my cross supports and my aprons and stuff to them,
Right. And even if you lose a little bit of profit, I mean, that's the time saved there.
Oh, there's no loss in profit. I mean, forget about the wood cost. Think about how much it costs to pay a couple guys to work on that.
That's thing. Yeah, exactly.
A trestle end will take you a couple days of work after your big glue ups and bandsawing it out and cutting it out with templates and all that stuff.
Oh man, I'm seeing some here, like even on Etsy, they sell a bunch of them.
Amazon's got them.
Yeah,
like it's nuts.
So, it's funny you said. I had a friend reach out about a big white oak table. Yeah. Like a 7 foot by 7 foot, this square. Uh-huh. And
how are they going to reach the middle?
I should ask them that. Sorry, I was just thinking, because at first it was going to be a circle, but
5 foot's max. Like you can barely reach across a 4 foot table.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, I haven't done a lot of tables, honestly. Like my first giant project was a conference table, but it was only 5 foot wide.
And you can't glue up something 7 foot wide. It's too wide. It'll warp.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm really glad.
3.5 foot sections, though, you could probably.
Now that I'm saying it, 7 foot sounds ridiculous, but yeah, I guarantee it's 7 foot. Okay. And, so a few things on that. One, at first they were wanting some sort of trestle base like this, and I was just thinking about it, right? Like, so on the feet of it, I was thinking about, they wanted a real decorative foot, and I was going to cut those on the CNC, just like, it'd basically be like side grain on top, right? And join them, and then half lap and join them, and it'd be like an X. I guess it's not a true trestle. But whenever you type in trestle on Google, it's similar kind of foot style, and then like that big round, it's kind of square but curvy base.
Yeah.
That attaches to the feet. And I was trying to figure out ways on that, and I was like, I know I'm biting off more than I can chew. But I mean, I haven't committed to the project, but yeah, it was kind of neat. And then on the edge, they wanted some sort of like design, and I was thinking of how to chisel it in. Like they wanted like little pyramids, or like the examples they sent me was like, it was kind of like it goes in and there's like pyramids.
Yeah.
I was thinking of running through the table saw twice or 4 times, right, and then just coming through with a chisel on that center kind of triangle sticking out.
Oh, you got more patience in it. Yeah, you'd have to make a little template. You got more patience. I've seen people do it. I've seen a guy do it on a table with like a little hand carving tools, but on oak.
Yeah. I was also thinking like build a jig with a router with a 45-degree bit.
Yeah.
And that would cut the pyramids.
Yeah.
That's
I can exactly see what you would do. Just keep mocking it up until you figure it out. Somebody's got to have done it.
And so here's another question. So
tell them it's a crumb catcher.
They love crumb catcher. There you go.
It is crumb catcher.
Yeah. So they love the look of white oak, and then they're doing like a French kind of lacquer. So like almost like a whitewash.
Okay.
If you will.
Rubio would be a good choice for that.
So I don't think their price range is going to be white oak wise.
White oak's expensive.
Exactly.
Red oak could work.
What? So I was considering red oak, but with it being especially like not a solid white, would the tannins not come through and make that pink?
They won't on Rubio.
Really?
Rubio doesn't do that. I don't know how. Even white oak will do that on some things, but Rubio, I don't know what they use for their white pigment, but like cotton white is just gorgeous, and it doesn't yellow. I mean, I've still got it in my shop. I mean, maybe it's a little yellower than when I got it, but I would just give them the option. Right?
So the cotton white, if I just do it lightly,
it's just off white. You can't do it lightly.
Do you think it's not going to be like a pure white?
No, it's very much not pure white. It's really like off white.
So I was considering, like I was going to do the white, maybe even start off with a white lacquer and like rub it down, like not a heavy coat with the white lacquer, if you will, and then
get in the grain,
rub it down, and then finish it with a satin lacquer. But so I've never used Rubio.
So the white sucks because it's really sticky. So it's got a lot of solids in it. I guess maybe because they want that white to really not go away, but it only works on things like oak because it's got to get down. Basically, the only bit of white that stays is kind of like what goes down into the grain.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect. And you just rub it on with a Scotch-Brite pad and wipe it off.
You said the cotton white?
Cotton white. It's the most popular one. That's one of the few ones you can get like pretty easy. It's not bright white and it's not off white. It's just like a cotton t-shirt white.
And so even where it rubs off, would that be the final finish, or would I want to come
back?
That's it.
No, that's it. You can put the restoring oil over the top of it. But if you let the Rubio dry for a week, you could probably lacquer over it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not hungry to do lacquer. I was still going to have to convince
You're one and done, man.
Rick to let me. Yeah.
Sand it to 220 or 320 and then rub the Rubio on and wipe it off and leave it, and that's it. You're done. And you can spill drinks on it and everything, and it do nothing to it.
That's so yeah. And so Rubio is like it's technically a hard wax oil
with an accelerator. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not going to be as hard as lacquer, right? That's going to soak in a little more, I guess, as far as like protection wise, and like as far as it being a table.
Well, it was designed for floors.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty stinking tough. Like I've set drinks on the coffee tables and consoles that we did in the on white oak, and it looks fine. White oak's gotten expensive too. It's like triple the price of red oak right now.
Yeah.
And it's almost like where I buy it for like 8/4, it's at least 60 to 70% more than walnut.
Yeah.
It's really expensive. So I just kind of haven't pushed it. I kind of push, like ash is cheap right now. So I've been pushing ash for people that want things that are durable, and like white hard maple for people like the maple tones, like that smooth grain.
But so structurally though, red oak versus white oak,
it's fine.
Okay, I mean, but white oak is premier, harder heavier Jenka, right?
It all depends. I would love to tell you that's true, but some of the white oak I get almost looks like red oak. It's kind of soft. And some of the red oak I get, like it catches the saw on fire. It's so dang hard. So
yeah.
It's an average. Red oak is fine. The problem is that red oak is kind of pinkish.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to do some tests on some really redder boards because you never know when you're going to make a big top what you're going to wind up having to put in it, unless you buy a ton of wood and don't use all of it. So you can be selective, right? But you don't know what it's going to look like till you mill it. And then it's also a little brighter when you first mill it, and then it kind of tones down after the next few days when you release all the tannins. But just do a test. Buy you some Rubio, show them what it looks like online, see if that's the route they want to go, and then show them, what it looks like on some red oak.
Yeah. What's another alternative you'd use for white oak? So I mean, I guess you're not really going to get that oak grain with much else.
Ash has a separated grain like that.
So the ash I have is a baked ash. Yeah, like it's super brown.
That's thermally modified. That's different.
Yeah, I guess that's really the only time I've ever used ash.
Ash is really white. We ever seen a baseball bat sand it down?
Yeah,
it's ash. Generally, that's ash.
Okay.
This is maple. It's got that raised grain, that layered grain that like oak has.
Yeah.
Not like maple. It doesn't have that solid grain like maple. It looks a lot like oak, and it'll take hickory would be another one you could use.
Well, I don't think hickory would. I don't think I'd be getting that any cheaper. Or that cheap, would I?
Well, you asked what an alternative was.
That's
red oak
fair.
is your best alternative to white oak, and it's cheap. It's probably 30% cheaper than walnut here.
Yeah. Okay. I just brought up some images of ash, and I can see now what you're saying.
It's only good for stain because it doesn't have a lot of color.
Yeah, that does look a lot like red oak. I mean, like not, minus the pink, but like as far as just the grain. Do you know much about the baking process?
Yes.
Like, okay, so from what I know,
that was one of our woods of the week. Remember,
baked ash.
Thermally modified is what it originally was called.
Okay.
And it's not just baked. So what they do is they do that with poplar, with ash, and those are the two main ones that they're doing it with. Not too many. The poplar gets really brittle and light, but the ash kind of keeps most of its strength. And they put it in a kiln, and it's a vacuum kiln. They suck most of the oxygen out of it, and they heat it to a very high temperature. So high that it, at a molecular point, all the sugars in the tree and in the lumber like crystallize to a point where they no longer will. Bugs don't eat it anymore.
Really?
And and it doesn't rot, and it doesn't expand and contract anymore. They'll put deck boards down, and the grooves stay the same. That's what they put up at Niagara Falls now. It's thermally modified wood because it doesn't, like up in the Cape Cod and stuff where it's all foggy and wet all the time. They started using that stuff because it grays really fast if you don't put a sealer on it.
Yes, I've noticed that with that baked ash I got. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically impervious to bugs and weather after that for the most part.
Man, so I got a question on that. Do you think that would take any of the density out as it's doing that? Because this ash, it feels really light.
The ash, they say that it does take the density out, but the ash, they say it doesn't lose much strength. The poplar loses about 30% of its strength.
Okay.
And that makes some woods are affected.
Yeah. Like today, another project I was doing was I get to work on my original big brisket board again, and I was considering different woods to put into it. Right, like I'm gonna cut it in half and replace some of the boards in it. Right, and I was considering that dark brown of this baked ash, but it just felt so light and kind of wimpy, and I was like, I don't want to put this on there. So,
I don't know what it does to the Janko hardness. No, I've never really read anything about that. I would imagine it probably doesn't do good things for the hardness.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about a cutting board, I wouldn't use thermally modified. Although they do make thermally modified ash hardwood floor.
Oh,
that makes sense. It's quite widely used. Yeah, because then your boards don't move. I think you don't even have to let it acclimate to the house when you put it in.
Right. Okay, so this board that I got back to, I got a question for you on that. So this one was I'll never make another board like it. It was a pain, but yeah, it was the first one that got me into making like these glue up brisket boards. Right, I call them brisket boards, but this thing is probably 24 inches by maybe 15 and a half inches, and it's 2 inches thick, and it's all like side grain, right? But I did it. Majority of it is Paduke.
Okay.
And which that was another thing, one thing, working on it, like originally when I had like my little Harbor Freight sander, like 5-inch orbital sander versus using my drum sander and my Festool sander now. Like before, like everything was red. Like even Crystal hated it because like we were finding red dust in the house and it just was not going away. It was everywhere. Like hands were pink, everything. It took a long time for the apron even to recover.
I've never used Paduke. I would like to though.
But yeah, have you ever used Purple Heart?
No.
So,
well, one little piece in something one time, but
yeah, that to me they feel like exactly the same. But yeah, it's well, you know that piece of Ipe that Ross sent us.
Yeah.
So it feels kind of like that. It's not as heavy, but I don't know. When you cut it, it has like a super clean cut. Like,
right.
It's like I don't know. Once you get it sand, it's by far the hardest wood on this board, right? And so it's all like side grain slats, right? The boards are running the width wise,
I understand.
like 16 inches, and majority Paduke, and then it goes. There's 3 lines in it that are cherry, maple, cherry, right? And so it's kind of like the deep red, white, light red, deep red, and 3 times on it. But in the middle of it, for some reason, on the very center stripe, the cherry and the maple were like trying to separate, and then on the bottom you can see it soaked up some water, and it started to turn dark.
Okay.
Is that, do you think that's microbial activity? Like mold, or what's
what
making
dark are you talking about?
Like it was like black streaks.
Yes, that's mold.
Yeah, and so I don't know how it separates. I was assuming
bleach it.
Yeah, so I have it sanded down right now, and I was considering either cutting the wood out and trying to glue it back together, just hoping to goodness that when I glue it back together, like the 2 big ends are in line.
Uh-huh.
And but okay, do you think maybe bleach? And then I know we use some Serve Pro products that are pretty intense as far like for mold. Maybe we could use some of that on it. But and then also in the XFR shop we have wood bleach, which that's for aiming for color, not for cleaning. But I was afraid
if
of
you
using
had a
the
little
wood bleach.
mildew in that it's completely common, and it's also just grit sometimes down in the cracks of cutting boards. I would just spray some bleach in it, scrub it really good with a good brush, and then let it sit, and then rinse it off, and you'll be fine. I don't think it's going to make anybody sick. Are you worried about how it looks, or about the fact that
more about putting mold back in someone's house?
Yeah, I don't know.
And so I had another thought too. So there's like a tiny crack at the top, like just where like the maybe 1 inch of the board is like separated, right, and allowed water to seep in. I was kind of like once we stop the microbial activity, coming back with like some sort of penetrating epoxy to kind of fill that gap, maybe provide a little bit more stability, because I don't think that the board's never going to separate, right? Like it's not failing at that joint; it's just pulled apart a touch right there. And also, I was wondering if they like left it in water or something.
Oh, I'm sure.
And which they've gotten some good use out of it, which I love. Sometimes when you make someone a really nice project that has a utility, they don't want it and they don't use it because it looks so nice. And I'm like, no, use it.
Yeah,
like, that's what it was built for. But yeah, the top of it got the heck use out of it. They went with a big lasered, like their name and like the initial of their name, and then like an established date. And which I hate that they did that on top, right? Because that's your main cutting surface, and you're just making your main cutting surface uneven. But they wanted the big logo on it, and we'll see if they come back with it. I haven't asked them. It's for my buddy, right? So it's a lot more relaxed than like
I would just say bleach it, and then you really don't want to put. Most epoxy and stuff is food safe, food contact safe.
Yeah.
So if you were worried about that, you could seal it up. But I was just looking at this guy brought in a cutting board the other day we resurfaced, and he's cut a bunch of brisket on it, and it was a very expensive cutting board when he got it. It was very big, and
end grain.
No, side grain maple. He has a barbecue joint.
All right.
But it didn't look that great, and like some of the seams had like black in it, like you're talking about. Like they start to come apart over time, There's nothing you can do about it. Wood's moving. You keep hydrating it and dehydrating it, hydrating it and dehydrating it. Guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the glue's waterproof or not. It'll just come apart. You just spray it with some bleach and it's fine. If they're worried about the looks of it, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But if they're not worried about the looks of it, just tell them to spray it with some bleach, scrub it, let it dry, get a good oil on it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you have a good point with the bleach and scrubbing it. Because the one thing, I'm not a mold expert yet, but Rick, my boss, owner of XFR, he used to carry some sort of certification with mold, right? When he was remediating with a different company, and so mold, even if you like kill everything, if you leave the spores, they can regrow, and so you still have to remove the spores as far as the scrubbing part. But
bleach will kill any mold, and then if they're really worried about it, tell them to stick it in the oven at like 170 degrees for a couple hours. That'll kill any bacteria that's on it.
Right, and I don't think they're super concerned about it. But I'm not going to send something back that's going to make someone sick. So that's good to know. Yeah, and maybe for the color, I could try that wood bleach. I'd like to learn more about that. We've only used it once in the shop.
The wood bleach. I mean, that's like where they get like pickled oak and stuff. They bleach the oak.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's like real beachy looking stuff. I don't know if I'd put that on Paduke.
Yeah. Oh, so none of the Paduke was messed up. It's just the sliver in the middle that it's on the bottom. The top is fine. Just a little touch on the bottom, and it's mostly the maple soaked it up, and a little bit of the cherry that's right next to it. Which that was surprising. I would assume that the cherry, being softer, would be more of a sponge than the maple.
Right. I don't know. It depends on that particular board too, like the grain and stuff like that.
But man, it was really cool. So this had been a handful of years ago I made this board, and it was really cool getting to work on it with the tools I have now, and the dust collection I have now mostly. With that Paduke, like running it through the drum sander, I was just thinking back to that old Bauer. That's the brand, the Harbor Freight brand, Bauer. That old 5-inch orbital Bauer sander, and I was like, man, I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, you got to start somewhere. When I first started, I had Harbor Freight sanders and stuff. They didn't do anything. They didn't do nothing. It was a nightmare all the time. Well, how's work going?
Dude, it's going. Man, other
than the pool table.
Yeah, no, it's feeling good. Like I was talking about moving that one guy up into which it's a Rick or it's mostly Rick and me's decision in mine. But moving him up has taken so much pressure off, right? Like I didn't have to be there for everything all the time, but I needed to be there for most of it, right? And this guy, he showed a lot of promise, and he's really done well with the role. He's had to get humbled a few times, but yeah, it's been a really cool thing, and making that transition, because I need to be writing like processes and all the, like Rick mentioned it a little bit when he was on, but for trying to scale this business, and right now we have another branch up in Dallas, right? But that's kind of a one-man shop up there.
Okay.
And it's kind of mine, and like we'll get some of his work, etc. But it trying to make this in like this really gray industry, and like where anything can go wrong. Like there's so many different situations. It's hard to make it into a textbook, taking this gray thing and making it black and white.
Right.
And yeah, it's a challenge, but it's exciting. But yeah, so I haven't had a lot of office time yet, which I find it weird, me like begging for office time. But it's nice whenever my entire job is not office time now. Right. And I know today I actually got a little office time. Like so I live pretty far from where I work, right? From XFR shop. I live on northwest side of Houston. The shop's on southeast side. Luckily, we get to work way before majority of Houston's awake, right? And so I'm missing a lot of the traffic coming in. But yeah, we had a job up near my place, near my house, and yeah, it was about noon, and I walked the guys through what we need to do when we get back, and I cut out the home and sat in the office, and I wrote up a inventory like checklist for the shop. What I call it XFR shop consumables, because there's so many like little things, like you got your satin lacquer, your gloss lacquer, your what else we had, like thinner, retarder, stripper, stain. Oh, I need to add stripper. I haven't added that to it. But dude, there's so many little chemicals that like when you need it, it's like, oh crap. But having a checklist in place is going to allow like whoever's doing it, whether it's me or one of the guys, to go through that checklist. And well, I think maybe weekly we'll do it, or maybe bi-weekly. And yeah, make sure we got our stuff when we need it.
Yeah, so I'm running into the same thing. So we just hired a new guy, and we actually hired 2 new people recently. And the one guy, his whole role is just to do whatever we tell him. Like, he could be doing a million different things, and he doesn't really know much.
He's a helper.
He's just a helper, just whatever.
Yeah.
And he's anally clean, so it's amazing. Like, he is like, well, that sound right, but he keeps everything cleaned up, organized. Yeah.
So that's our Chilango. Yeah.
It's our so guy. Nice. And we get a lot of compliments about that. I think it's a good thing. And then, and he's like, he's always freaking there before me. I cannot get there before him. I cannot do it. If I get there at 7:15, we're not supposed to be there till 8. He's already there, got the shop open. Like, he's doing something. So I like him a lot.
Right on. He's a motivator.
And he likes to learn. He's just kind of, he just moves a little slow, like a little too calculated for me. Overthinks things,
Okay.
But he doesn't know all the tips and tricks yet, so I can't. I ain't got no problem with him at all.
It's kind of funny. My Chilango has the opposite problem. He moves too fast, and he damages stuff sometimes.
Okay. A little overzealous, yeah.
Yeah, a little rough.
Then the other guy, he has a lot of experience working in a wood shop. He worked in a wood shop at his house, and they had a wood shop at this prison that he was a guard at, and they let him use their workshop. So he did stuff there. He did stuff for people. So he's done civil working. The guy can do a glue up like a mofo. Like,
really?
Perfect milling of wood. Perfect glue ups, tabletops. And I don't have to say nothing. I mean, he's got it. And so that's nice. And then I've never had anybody ever even knew what a freaking joiner was until him. And then, but he's making mistakes. He's making a lot of silly mistakes. And he's not thinking things through, and he's, accidentally cutting stuff the wrong length, and just some weird things. But he's the nicest guy you'd ever want to be around, and that makes it fine. I just said, I don't care if you make mistakes. I really don't, not too much. I mean, I want you to think, but I don't want you to spend so much time thinking that you overthink it, and you could have been doing something,
Yeah.
But I'm going to start making my SketchUp drawings a little more detailed, and like basically each part is going to have, but things always get changed like right at the last second,
Mm-hmm.
And that's where things start getting messed up. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain all of it. Like, we're making a bureau right now that's all walnut plywood and stuff. And he just, making some mistakes with it, but listen, he's doing his thing. I'm doing mine. We got stuff going on in the field. I'm talking to customers. I'm bidding stuff. I'm installing cabinets. I mean, you name it. Like, it's just always something. So I need him there in the shop, keeping the wood shop going. And then we've got another guy that was in the shop. He's in the field now, and he's doing stuff, but he's unreliable. So we'll see what happens with that.
Unreliable, like showing up on time, or like
yes.
Yeah, we
being disorganized, not answering his phone, not answering texts, like that kind of stuff.
Ooh,
not clocking in, not clocking out. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I did pay for my class for SketchUp. I decided to go with a different class from another guy that I've been listening to for a while. I may cancel it and get my money back because you can't cast it to a TV, as far as I can tell. You can't. There's no closed captions, which I'm a big fan of closed captions subtitles because I remember it better if I can read it while it's coming across the screen. Okay. And it's also with a very old version of SketchUp. It's a pro version, but it's like at this point 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. And things have changed. And the other one that I was looking at was with the new version of SketchUp. So, but he has like this thing about cabinets and like some other stuff that I was really excited about. So I don't know. I'm going to watch a couple videos. Yeah, $600 for the year.
Yeah, $600 for an older software. I don't know about that, man.
Well, it appears that a lot of it's the same, but then I've gone to some of his YouTube videos to find information about certain things, and he says how to do it, and what I go to see and what he's got on there is two different things. He's still got new videos coming out, but I think he's focusing less on certain things and more on others, like maybe more of the advanced stuff. So SketchUp comes with a program called Layout. The pro version does. And in SketchUp, you can design a house, right? Put your doors in there, your windows in it, and you label everything a certain way as you do it. And then you can take this, your SketchUp, and import it into Layout, and it will turn it into like blueprints and like architectural drawings and like drawings you submit for permits and like full on electrical layouts, like everything you could possibly. You could do it with a school, you could do it with a hotel, you could do it with a whole neighborhood if you wanted to. And it'll create, slices, it'll create anything, it'll make black and whites, it'll do cabinet layout, specs. It'll even has a plug-in after you design the cabinets to give you your cut list.
Really?
And so, it's a very powerful tool.
I know about the cut list, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. And not a lot of people touch on that. A lot of people use some other programs for that. And I think that, this class and the other class offer the SketchUp to Layout, information. And so a lot of it, though, is about rendering it. So after you design like something, you can take it to other programs like Photoshop, or there's some other ones out there that will take it and make it look like a real thing. Like not just like put like wood grain in it. I mean, makes it look like it's a real piece of furniture sitting there, or it's a real room with chairs in it with like light sources. And I mean, it looks like Pixar.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Which is great for selling somebody on something, right? Like this could be yours. This is what it looks like, So, that's all something that I want to learn, and I think it's important. But at this point, I haven't even had time. Oh my God. Like I've got old people moving back into town that I did handyman stuff for that want me to hang TVs. I got to build my laundry room, a closet. I still got painting to do here.
Are you doing are you going to say yes to the handyman stuff? Or
I do a little bit of stuff for my old customers. Like if I want to do it, like hanging a TV, it's like free money, like $100 a TV. Come on.
Yeah.
And then like
how much do you charge to hang a TV?
$100.
Okay.
As long as it's not too hard, but yeah, $100.
Yeah.
So I mean, Geek Squad wanted to charge. So the guy David at work, he asked Geek Squad because he bought a big screen and they wanted to hang it. They wanted to charge him almost $700 to hang his TV.
What?
$700.
I mean,
and I was like, get out of here! What are they putting like audio outlets and stuff in the wall and like?
Yeah. I mean, if they did like surround sound, like
that's what
literally
I'm saying.
Wired throughout the room.
I was like, "Are you sure, David?" He goes, "I swear, I remember." He's like, "I figured it out myself," and I was like, "I bet you did." But
yeah,
so I do like hang TVs and some ceiling fans and stuff for people if it's not too bad. And then Ashley's dad, their front fence at their house we replaced his back fence that a tree fell on after the hurricane, and they gave me money for it. I didn't even ask them, but they gave me some money for it. And then she wants to do like one of those fences that has the horizontal slats in the front. Like down their driveway. So, because that fence is completely falling down. But it's in a bunch of trees. The hardest part of a fence is digging through roots in Florida. That's the hardest part. All the rest of it's easy. So I might do that in a couple weeks. I don't know. They're going out of town for a while, so I don't have to worry about it. But I want to get my house finished. My kids just left. Anyway.
Yeah,
so
dude, I'm feeling the pressure on the house stuff too. Like, I don't know. I knocked off some of the small honeydew stuff. Like, I fixed our bed, right? Like, well, yeah, I had to fix the frame of the bed. Some other small stuff. Now it's time for some bigger stuff. But it's so funny. There's like several spots in my house where I fixed the drywall, right? And I just never came back and like textured it, right? It's always like something I'm gonna learn. I've never tried.
I could tell you how to texture it. What's the texture look like? Knockdown?
I think it's knocked down. So there's a ceiling spot. It looks like where you take a mop.
Okay, got it.
And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bang it up, and then there's one in the wall in the bathroom. I think that one's a pretty standard one.
All right, so I'll tell you a couple ways to make easy texture. Okay. You don't have to have any machines or anything. All right. So the mop one, you can buy the mop still. It's a round, floppy-looking brush. They sell them at Home Depot.
All right.
And it's you'll see it. It'll be in the drywall section. It's got these big floppy-looking bristles on it, and they're round. And sometimes they're two side by side sometimes, and it goes on the end of like a handle of some sort. And you just get you like you're gonna need like a big like roller pan or like some sort of big pan that it'll fit in, and you just put some soupy 45-minute mud in it or 20-minute mud, and then blip blip blip, poke it on the ceiling, and that's it. And if it's knocked down on the ceiling, you knock it down. The other way you can do it is you can just put some mud up on the ceiling with a drywall knife and then hit it with the broom. But generally,
hit it with the mop after, just like slapping it up.
Yeah, you got to see which way it looks better. Yeah, usually what they do is they roll it on with a heavy roller. They put on soupy mud with a heavy roller, and then another guy comes behind him and poke does it.
So whenever like we initially had the leak in our house, and the guys were like, I made friends with the drywallers, right? Especially after Crystal came through with some blue tape hyped up on a Red Bull and marking, like, I came back to a bunch of blue spots, looked like blue chicken pox in the house.
Gotcha.
And like they did kind of mess up a few spots, but yeah, she came through with a fine tooth comb and had them come back out. So yeah, we got friendly, but I did see them doing it on the ceiling. I don't know if they had a very official tool when they were doing it.
Gotcha. Well, that's what you do it with.
Okay, I think they had a piece of carpet maybe.
You could do that too. It just depends on if it's circular, then you know it's the mop thing. If it's not, the other way you can do it is you can take. I think
this one might be more linear.
Okay,
but like linear? Still like a knockdown thing. I'm not saying anything that suggests circle.
All right, let me tell you another way you can do it. You can take a sponge, like you use to wipe up tile, those little square ones they sell, and take you a pair of pliers and pull little chunks every so often out of it to make like a real irregular face. It almost looks like a sea sponge. And then wet it, squeeze out the water. Same thing. Dip it in some mud, tap, tap, tap on the ceiling, and then you can kind of get, or in any of those places. And then you can like wait till it sets up a little bit, knock it down, or not knock it down at all, however you want it to look.
That's not that bad idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and if it's linear, that means they knocked everything down the same direction.
Yeah, and not that it's linear.
All right, so then
I'm looking at the ceiling right now. It's just like I don't see anything that should just circle.
So the last thing you can do is they'll have like next to like the stucco stuff and the drywall stuff, there'll be like a brush that's got straight bristles on the end of a handle, and it's like a tool cleaning brush. And sometimes you want the one with natural bristles, not the plastic bristles. And that you can just take that, dip it in some mud in a mud pan, and poke that on the wall, and like spit or spatter, like blip, 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 and make little stipples. And then you just kind of blend it in and kind of sand it a little bit. Blend it in. Same thing, knock it down. And so there's like 3 different ways you can make texture. The last thing you can do to make texture is you can buy it in a can. They make spray texture in a can. different spray textures, and you spray it, and you can adjust the nozzle on some of them and knock it down. But it's very expensive for the cans, and it's just very expensive for the cans.
Yeah,
it doesn't go very far.
So on the wall one, like it's a texture that my Wagner gun, spray gun can do.
Interesting.
Like if I were to like tone it in,
you won't want to overlap too much. That's the key. Don't overlap.
Yeah. So that was my fear, was just trying to use that.
Just the spot. Don't overlap, because that's where everybody gets messed up. They start overlapping when they try to patch something. You want to stop it, like have a hard edge, and then just blend that little fine edge where it meets with anything. Take a picture of it, send it to me. I'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, heck yeah. Oh, Crystal would love that.
Yeah, textures are the last things. All right, are you ready to play some trivia?
Let's get it. All right.
Or one of the week. Actually, I tell you what. Let's do one of the week first.
All right, hold on. Okay, I can do this. Maybe. Wow. 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 One of the week.
Okay, so I am shocked because I was testing out Google Gemini, and I was like, maybe it'll give me an idea for what of the week. So, you tell it like all this AI stuff. Like, hey, I do have a podcast, and I was like, it needs to be kind of a different one because I've done a bunch of different ones, and it named a bunch we'd already done. And then it came up with this, and I'm like, that's probably not real. And it is a real wood. So I did some research on it, and I don't know how I've never heard of this wood. I'm absolutely, maybe because it's only in Brazil, I guess. But this week's wood of the week is called Kingwood.
Kingwood.
Kingwood. Very easy.
There's some neighborhoods around here, right? Kingwood.
Yeah, there's streets named Kingwood. There's towns named Kingwood. And so let's talk about what it looks like. If I was to describe it to you, it's if I mix, yes, definitely Google it. It is, but you have to type in Kingwood tree because otherwise it pulls up like cities and stuff.
Kingwood. I typed in Kingwood wood.
It looks, that'll work. It looks like walnut mixed with oak to me.
Yeah. Some of it gets really purple, like a really purple walnut.
Really purplish brown color, stunning, very rich, interlocking grain, kind of like oak and ash we were talking about earlier. It's called interlocking. And it even has a shimmering, iridescent quality. Something interesting about it. Oh, I lost my...
While you're looking for that, the sapwood on the edges is really sharp. It reminds me a lot of that Belizean wood. What were we calling it? Ironwood, I think.
Yes.
It has a really sharp sapwood edge.
I lost my one little piece of data.
I bet you this is very similar in family to that.
So I will tell you about the family of it in a minute. You won't be surprised when I tell you what family it's in. So, Janka hardness, according to Wood Database, is 3,340. We're talking like way up there, right? And it is straight or occasionally interlocked, fine uniform texture, high natural luster. Obviously, being so hard, it is very durable and decay resistant and resistant to termites. It is definitely hard to work with. Tear out can occur. I
think that's probably why all the projects that are pulling up for me
also
are like little boxes or pens or rings.
Right, and it's very difficult to glue because it's got so much oil in it. Usually these ones that are higher, but it will take a really high polish. It is prized for veneer for high-end furniture, cabinetry, musical instruments. But due to its rarity and cost, it's often used for small high-end items like knife handles, pin bodies, and decorative boxes. So it's primarily sourced from Brazil. It is pretty endangered because of overharvesting and habitat loss. So it is a pretty rare and expensive wood now. But one thing that I found out about it... second. So it's named from several French kings, Louis the 14th and Louis the 15th in the 17th and 18th centuries that preferred this wood in the use of fine furniture. Kingwood is considered a true rosewood in the Dalbergia genus and is among the densest of all rosewoods, with African blackwood being the only species with a higher average dried weight. This is so basically it's a type of rosewood. So some other things that are in it,
I could see that. Yeah.
There's like this one guy made chess pieces out of it. It's just so beautiful. I mean, really, it's like oak and walnut mixed together.
It seems like it's a really skinny tree, right? Like a lot of the boards
so
I'm
30
seeing,
to 6 feet tall and less than 2 feet in trunk diameter.
Yeah, a lot of the boards I'm seeing, like it's a crosscut. Like there's both sides are sap.
1 cubic foot of this weighs 80 pounds, almost 80 pounds. Like it's very, very dense. So I hope that one day that I can get a little bit of this to do something. I would really like to get into pen making. I think that would be awesome for Christmas gifts, is to get a little lathe and start making pens.
Yeah.
Get these little wood blanks because it's so cheap.
So I got that Harbor Freight lathe, which
they don't make them anymore.
Really?
I have been to several Harbor Freights. I've been on their website. They do not carry the central machinery lathe anymore.
Oh man.
Yeah, is right.
I got one like with the 18-inch. I think it's got like a.
They were pretty decent.
9-inch throat. Yeah, I mean, so at Maker Camp, that was one of the things that me and Crystal did was the pen making, and like the lathes they had there. I mean, they weren't top of the line, but they were pretty slick. Like it was really easy on off. Like you could adjust the speed really easy, and I saw the benefit. But yeah, just like most tools you get from Harbor Freight, like it's once you get it dialed in, it's just as good, but it just takes longer and harder to dial in.
I had a Grizzly we got, and at the time it was only, I think I got it on sale for around $2,200 or $1,800, something like that. And it was a full 42-inch long lathe with an 18-inch throat. And you could, the reason that I did that is because we made a lot of bar height tables with just like legs. And I needed to be able to make a 40-something inch leg out of one piece of, some glued up pieces of pine or something. It was really important. And so we bought it, and I got that thing, and I bought some tools, and I bought a really expensive sharpener to sharpen stuff. And it's just time consuming making a leg when you haven't done it a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not used to a skew or anything like that. So
it seems like it'd be really difficult to make several uniform legs, right? Like it's easy to make one thing look good, but then to make
you got to have a template.
Things match.
You got to have a template where you mark your stuff with like a little piece of plywood, make all your pencil marks, and then you got to have your calipers. You just get used to it. But like people turn staircases and they turn them all the same. Close enough where you can't see it. All right. Well, anyway, that was this week's word of the week: Kingwood or Violeta from Brazil and occasionally from Mexico. All right, you ready for some
Violeta is very fitting with the slight purple and so on.
That is correct. Yeah, that's right. All right, are you ready for some trivia?
All right. Yeah, let me find the jingle.
You're a lone wolf.
Better get on out that knowledge, because it's trivia time.
All right, this week's, I was thinking about Black Friday, and recently we just cleaned out the trailer today, and I was looking at all the different tools that I had and all these different brands and ones that I love and ones that I don't love. And I started thinking about tool brands again. And then I was watching some movie, and they were playing this game by Campfire. So it inspired this game, which is Tool Company Trivia, Truth or Lie. All right?
All right.
So you're going to tell me about whether or not my next statement is a truth or the truth or it is a lie. Okay?
Okay.
And then,
let's do it.
Then if you get it, if it's a lie or whatever the case may be, I will tell you the correct answer and give you a little extra information. And at the end, we're going to have a little history on top of it, okay?
Oh, I like these.
All right. Truth or lie? Stanley Black & Decker is the largest manufacturer of hand tools in the world. Be very specific with the words that I say. Stanley Black & Decker is the largest manufacturer of hand tools in the world. Truth or a lie?
True. I see them a lot.
That is a lie.
Oh.
While Stanley Black & Decker is a major player, Snap-on is generally considered the largest manufacturer of hand tools globally.
Oh, hand tool. Okay.
That's right.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
Question number 2. You going to play the music? Jeopardy?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, here we go.
All right. Truth or lie? Festool is a German company known for its high-quality, innovative power tools and dust collection systems.
Oh, true.
That is correct. It is true. It is celebrated for precision tools, ergonomic designs, exceptional dust extraction systems. They are a leader in the professional woodworking and construction tool market.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Question number 3. Is this a truth or a lie, Colton? Milwaukee Tool is an American company that primarily focuses on cordless power tools.
I'm going to say true.
It is true.
All right.
Milwaukee Tool is an American company that has gained significant popularity for its robust cordless power tools, especially the M18 and
M12.
the M12 lines.
M12.
They are known for their focus on innovation and performance.
Oh, I did want to say I am loving
M12 is
my
bad,
M12s.
man.
Oh, they
Isn't
fit
that
in
funny
my
how
drawer.
we went
of
from
my
like
toolbox.
18, we went from 12 volt to 18 volt to 20 volt, and now there's like crazy stuff. And now we're back to 12, but with the battery technology, I don't miss it at all.
No.
I don't miss it. My
No,
drills are so
my batteries
powerful.
have lasted a long time.
Yes.
And like I'm sure if I was putting Ugga-Duggas on a vehicle, I'd want that extra.
Of
but,
course.
Like we're dealing with wood here. Like
And like cabinets, I need it to be small.
yeah.
I still like my little black brushless Makitas.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are still the smallest like ones, but I
Dude,
really do love those M12s we bought.
My little M12, the fuel impact, it's like barely a 5-inch like.
I know. I have the same one, and I bought some 6 milliamp batteries on Black Friday when I was in there. They had them for $50 a piece.
Yeah,
and I mean I put in deck screws all day and it didn't die. So that's
dude. I really like so everything about my kit is about space, right? And that only thing I hate about my Black Friday deal I did with the impact, the driver, and the rotary tool is that it came with one like
little tiny one
1.5 amp, and then 1 2 amp, and the 2 amps big. I would have rather had two of the 1.5 amps.
Well, I'll tell you a little trick. You can go on Amazon and you can buy some off brands of those, and from what I can tell, they're extremely good. Like people have had them for years.
Really?
And they work really good. They don't burn. They don't catch on fire. I know that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, I did that with in my shop. I got the Dremel, right? Dremel brand Dremel rotary tool, and I bought a battery on Amazon. It's lasted me a couple of years.
Yeah, we have some for the Makita that are 6 milliamp big monsters, and we have some for the Ryobis, and I have not had a problem yet. So.
Yeah, I don't leave them on the charger if I'm going out of town though.
I don't leave them on the charger at all. We turn off the compressor and take all batteries off, even if they're not charged, because
that's a good rule of thumb. Yeah.
I don't trust it at all. All right, moving on. Truth or lie, Colton?
Ooh.
Makita is a Japanese company that originally started as an electric motor manufacturer.
I'm going to say true again.
It is true again.
All right.
Makita began its journey as an electric motor manufacturer in 1915.
1915.
Yeah, it's contributed to the development of their high-performance power tools. Okay, question number 5. Truth or lie, Colt? DeWalt is a subsidiary of Stanley Black & Decker.
False.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
DeWalt.
It is. I was kind of
a
wondering about the
well-known
yellow
brand.
and black, if it carried over.
Accessory that is owned by Stanley Black & Decker. All right.
But Black & Decker's orange and black now, right?
Black & Decker is orange and black still, I think.
Yeah, but Stanley's yellow.
Stanley's still yellow.
Yeah.
And black. All right. Truth or lie? Bosch is a German company that primarily manufactures automotive parts.
False.
That is correct. While Bosch is a German multinational conglomerate, it has a significant presence in the power tools market. They make really good routers. And
my big router is my 2-hand routers.
And they make the best hammer drills on the planet. They make hammer drills that takes 2 people to pick up. They're amazing.
Ooh.
All right. Moving on. Truth or lie, Craftsman is an American brand of hand and power tools that was originally owned by Sears.
True.
That is true.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, wait, wrong one. I got a Sears Craftsman drill press for my grandpa.
That's right.
In the shop. Yeah, it's still going. It's older than me.
Right, originally. But guess what? Stanley Black & Decker owns them now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they own everybody. All right, moving on. Truth or lie, Ryobi is a Japanese company known for its affordable entry-level power tools.
True.
Very true. Ryobi is a Japanese brand that offers a wide range of affordable power tools. I have 2 Ryobi drills that I still have that still work with the original 2 batteries, and they still freaking work just fine. The $99 ones you get on like they give you 2 batteries, 2 drills, and a charger for $99, and they usually do it around Christmas and Father's Day. They make them special just for that, like with no extra stuff on them. They still freaking work.
Yeah, I think Ryobi has stepped up. I think they had a bad reputation. Like, they used to make really crap. Not that everything they do is good. There's some stuff I got from them I wouldn't buy again. But I don't know. One thing about Ryobi is that they have one of everything. Like, I saw like there's a detail hot glue pen that Rick's wife has.
Yes.
And that's pretty neat. Like, a little bit of everything.
They make a really nice cordless hot glue guns. I've seen a lot of people use them. They use them to make templates for like countertops, like veneer strips. I just bought the new Ryobi, and it's not even brushless. I brought a hammer drill because we've been using my hammer drill at the shop, and I want it back. And I bought that hammer drill for $100 8 years ago. Still works great. I've drilled so many holes with that hammer drill I can't even begin to tell you. And so the new one even still kind of looks like it a little bit, and it's the best hammer drill I've ever used. Best hammer drill I've ever used. So
right on.
I'm big on Ryobi. All right. 2 more. Hilti is a Swiss company that specializes in professional construction tools, including power tools, fastening systems, and measurement tools. Swiss company. Yeah.
I would say true.
It is. It is true.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever used Hilti, but they're like top of the line over even Festool. Like everything Hilti is like solid cast iron. Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything Hilti.
I have used Hilti drills. I've used Hilti hammer drills, and I have used Hilti like the powder charge. You know, like where you shoot like nails into hard concrete and steel and stuff. I mean, you can run them over with a semi-truck and drag them behind a semi-truck, and they'll still work.
Is like Hilti yellow and black?
Black. It's red and white.
Red and white, okay.
Red
That's
white.
right, that's right.
Hilti, if you'll notice, a lot of companies that rent tools, they rent Hilti stuff, generally, because they know they're not going to break. So that's always a good determining factor, by the way.
Yeah.
If you go to a rental place, they don't rent Ryobi tools. They rent Makita. They rent big, stuff they don't have to fix.
Right.
All right, last one. Truth or lie, Metabo HPT is a German company that is known for its pneumatic nailers and staplers.
Metabo.
Yeah, Metabo, Metabu, whatever you're going to call it.
Yeah, well, I mostly only see Metabo for nailers. I'm going to say true.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
I'll reread the question one more time. Metabo HPT is a German company that is known for its pneumatic nailers and staplers.
Yeah. The only thing Metabo I've ever used is pneumatic nailers.
All right. So Metabo is a Japanese company, not a German company.
I should have caught that.
It was originally Hitachi, right? If you remember that. Still kind of looks like it, and has been rebranded after a merger with the German tool manufacturer, Metabo. All right. So for the bonus, for all our our guests listening, we're going to go through, and here's a little history, a little trivia mixed in together. All right. I'm going to read you a set of the year it was founded, by who, and a little bit about the fun fact of it, and you're going to tell me what company it was. All right?
All right.
Listen very carefully to some of these names, and you will know what the name of the tool company is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We'll start with the first one. Oh, here, I got to do this all mixed up, otherwise you're going to figure out what I did. All right. Frederick Trent Stanley in 1843.
Yeah.
Originally started as a small shop manufacturing bolts, hinges, and other hardware. What's the name of the company now?
Stanley?
Stanley Black & Decker. That's correct. All right. How about in 1924, A.F. Seibert? They began as a small manufacturer of grinding wheels and abrasives. Any clue?
I can.
A.F. Seibert, Siebert. No, it is Milwaukee Tool.
Oh.
It began as a small manufacturer of grinding wheels and abrasives. Okay. What about, now listen real careful, 1925, Albert Fieser and Gottlieb Stoll. Known for its innovative dust extraction systems and a key focus since the company's early days.
Oh, is that Steel?
Albert Fieser and Gottlieb Stoll.
I don't know.
So
is it obvious? Am I missing this?
No, if you saw the names, it would be Festool, Fieser, F-E, and then Stoll, Toll. So Festool. Yeah,
I was thinking steel like the weed eater.
Festool. Yeah. Festool. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Here's an easy one. 1915, the founder was Masaburo Makita. And their roots are in electric motor manufacturing.
Yamaha. Makita.
It is Makita. That is correct. All right. How about 1922 by a guy named Raymond DeWalt?
Ryobi. DeWalt.
It is DeWalt, and they invented the radial arm saw, a groundbreaking tool that revolutionized woodworking. Kind of the first step in table saws and stuff. All right. So 1886, Robert Bosch. We've got that one. What you didn't know was that Bosch has a long history in power tools dating back to the early 20th century, 1886. It's a long, long way. They made automotive parts as well. All right. 1927, Sears Roebuck and Company.
Sears Craftsman. That's right. A cornerstone brand for Sears for many decades. 1943, Yoshikazu Ryobi.
Mm-hmm. And you know what they started as? This is going to blow your mind. I bet you didn't know this one. Ryobi started as a fishing reel manufacturer.
Really?
And expanded into power tools. Yeah.
Man.
Two more. 1916, Martin Hilti.
Yeah.
Invented Hilti, known for its super powerful professional construction tools. And then last one, 1923, it started by Hitachi Koki. And then 2018, it was rebranded into
Hitachi?
Metabo.
Oh.
And there's a joint venture between the two. And so now it's just Metabo. So I had I had a friend that had a Hitachi chop saw, and it was pretty good. It had a digital readout and everything. They were very big, but it was a really good chop saw. And then I had a friend that had several Hitachi nailers. I mean, same thing. You could drive them through. I mean, you can leave them in salt water. They just ran. They shot perfect. They had brad nailers that would shoot like 2.5-inch brad nails. They were like really awesome. And then I had some Hitachi and Metabu, the same routers, and they're crap. They were crap. They would lose their round. The switches would go out in them within a year, over and over. And they were like 3 horsepower. Like it was just, they were overpowered for what they were just pushing them too hard, I think. So, I mean, I have a Makita router now that's 2.5 horsepower, and it's big. And then we have a 3.25 horsepower one, and it's a monster. And so how they got 3 horsepower, that little router, I have no idea. But they all burn up. All of them burn up.
Yeah. So, it's not good balance, man.
I don't know anymore.
Hitachi, I can't put my finger on it, but growing up, my dad had something Hitachi in his shop. And it was like nice. Like you don't leave this outside kind of thing.
Right. They made some pretty good stuff for a while.
Yeah, I can't remember what he had. Maybe it was a nailer or something.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I did not know that Stanley Black & Decker owned Craftsman and Black & DeWalt. But somebody said that before. There's not that many tool manufacturers, actually. Snap-on, I think they make for several people, too. And Harbor Freight has, like, the Bauer and some other ones. Like, there's only, like, 5 or 6 major tool companies, and they make that stuff in all the same factories. Now, that doesn't mean they make them to the same standards or the same precision or quality, but
yeah, or even the same line. But yeah, I got you.
Right, it's totally
dude. Speaking of Stanley, I came out today. So this morning we had a quick pack out of a pool table. Right, I don't know what it is recently. We've had a lot of pool tables, and this one had screws in the middle of the slate, and they had filled it in with Bondo. Right, so we had to crack out this Bondo, which I eventually went and got the drill. I was kind of letting the guys handle that while I was doing the inventory and other stuff. And I come back, and they have I have that Stanley set. I think you get it from Lowe's, where it's like.
Please tell me they didn't have the chisels.
Oh yeah, they did
on slate.
Not
what
the
happened
chisels.
to your rotary tool? That would have been the perfect time.
I know. I didn't think about the rotary tool. I ended up just getting a drill bit and just kind of clearing it out. This Bondo, it was like a throwaway drill bit. And
what was after that?
But they had it wasn't my chisels. It was like the small wood carving kit, and they had one of mine that was like a bell curve, and they had the hammer, and they had it in there. They're hitting it, and I was like,
"Did you tell him he's gonna have to resharpen it?"
I'm gonna resharpen. I told him I'm gonna have to spend some time resharpening it, and that these are not freaking bang on. What would you call that? You wouldn't call it a chisel at that point. What do you call it? Like something that's meant for like knocking stuff off.
It would be a chisel, but it's a wood chisel, not a Bondo chisel.
Yeah.
You needed like an old flathead screwdriver that you don't care about
I
anymore.
know. Which that was one thing, we talked about why not just have the screwdriver that has all the bit heads on it? Well, I kind of found out why a little bit. First off, we lost my good screwdriver, right? And so then that's my only screwdriver, right? But also, those aren't as good for like banging on the back of it, making it into a chisel.
No, I want some through screwdrivers. So it goes where like the metal shaft goes all the way through to a metal end.
Yeah.
So that way you can like hit the back of it with a hammer and it really drives a blow into a stuck screw. I just haven't bought any yet.
Yeah. So that's one thing I'm adding to my pack out kit for the week is
a lock.
Well, I have locks, but they weren't on.
Why don't they have their own
it's
tools?
Like some bang around chisels. But what?
Well, they should have their own tools, shouldn't they?
No.
Like some of their own stuff? Like a little toolbox?
We have toolboxes for them, which this was a simple pack out, so I just brought my toolbox. And
my dad used to give the guys more money when they had their own tools.
Really?
It was like a thing, like if you don't have a hawk and trowel and margin trowel and a slicker and all that stuff, but you get your own tools and I'll give you a little more money, I'll give you another $1 an hour or whatever.
That's not a bad idea. I didn't talk to Rick about that. But
it isn't. And then they stop messing with your stuff, and then they want to go buy tools.
Yeah, which I know the guys want, like, to build their own kits and stuff, but I don't know. Some of them, I don't think they're responsible enough to keep their tools.
Well, then you just take it out. That's not your problem because you don't pay for them.
Yeah.
They pay for them.
Right.
And then they lose it, then they don't have a tool anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're that bad about losing stuff.
Like, it was a good lesson today that we went a little too fast into, like, letting people dig around in my kit.
Don't let people touch your stuff, man.
Yeah. But he felt bad about it. The lesson was learned, but at the cost of my time to sharpen it.
Some things in the shop are very, very, like, you just real careful with them, and they're only used for certain things. And then some things are just like whatever, like that's why I keep like old screwdrivers and stuff. Like,
yeah,
beat on them. You don't worry about them. If you got to pry something with them, I don't care. But anyway, all right.
Yeah. We got a whole drawer in the shop full of flatheads, and I think very few of them have actually unscrewed or screwed screws.
Yeah,
There's
pulling out staples and all kind of stuff.
Opening paint cans. Yeah.
All right. So, what's next? Are we doing a nugget?
Oh, yeah. Let's get on nuggets.
Yeah.
Ooh, let me find the jingle. Go. Nuggets!
It's nuggets! Very good. Well, let's hear your nugget other than keeping a lock on your stuff.
That was my nugget, man. I guess a good way to put it, a good way to phrase it is like, if you're gonna have other hands in your toolbox, maybe do a run through beforehand. Like, just make it awkward. Be like, all right, everyone, here's my shit. Don't use these for this. These are for this. Like, I'm gonna have to do that if we're gonna be sharing toolboxes. So,
well, I don't know. I've never. I mean, maybe my guys are just scared of me, but like losing stuff, I'm more likely to lose it than they are. And they,
oh really?
I will have a freak. Oh yeah, I will have a meltdown if I caught somebody taking one of my chisels, hacking away at something other than a piece of wood.
Yeah,
they don't even touch the chisels. But like, I am very particular. Like, you use this saw blade for this. Don't use the fine tooth for wood. This needs to be for plywood. Like. And then the trailer, everything goes in a certain place. It's highly organized. And everybody knows to put it back. And I get onto them when I do it. And I think they just get like, hey, this isn't going to be some, like, you remember where you got that and you're going to put it back there. There is no other way around it. And
yeah,
haven't had a problem with it yet. But I don't have any young. I mean, there's a couple guys. They're older people that respect that kind of stuff. They like that kind of stuff, and
we got a little bit of everything as far as that goes in our shop. We got a guy who would throw it under the bench if it's quicker. That's a major exaggeration, but
I get it.
And then we got, our Chilongo, like I was telling you about. He cleans up after everybody. He's a helper and a cleaner, an organizer.
Yeah, we've had a couple people that leave stuff everywhere they're at, and Ashley comes out of the office and says something like, "Pick your effing blank 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 up. Like, this can't be like this." And she don't even work in that shop. She's like, "There's just caca everywhere." Yeah. She's like, "Pick it up. Like, if you get done something, pick it up." And we've had it in morning meetings several times until the point now where they pick up, and now they put it up too much. Like, it's a little too clean. It doesn't look like we're doing anything. So
we don't have that problem yet.
But you just have to keep pounding it in them like every single day. Pick it up. Like, there has to be consequences. That's the problem. Is that it doesn't hit them in the pocketbook. It doesn't hit them in the ego. It doesn't hit them in the fear, like where they're worried they're going to get fired or something's going to happen to them. There's no consequences. It's just like a kid. People just get away with the bad behavior because it's easier. So you just gotta keep going at them with it. And if it's a lot of those tools in that shop are mine. They're mine. And I've slowly but surely bought some for the shop and taken mine home. It's taken a couple years. and they're still mostly my stuff. So I just try to. I know where everything goes. So if it's not there, I'm like, "Where's this? Where's that? What'd you do with this?" And I try to keep track of it. But that chisel thing, that's always a thing. He ain't no word worker.
No, he's more a finisher. The guy who did that. He is our best sprayer.
We'll take his spray gun and drop it on its nozzle in front of him. Use it like, how about you get some dog crap in your shoe and use a sprayer to dig it out of your shoe, and then say, you see that?
That's
what
hilarious.
You did. That's what you should do.
Oh yeah. You know what? To drive it home, I should.
You should
make a big deal tomorrow.
You should like scratch your butt crack with it or something like that's just disrespectful to it, and be like,
yeah,
that's what you did to my tools the other day.
That tool is going to be hard to get back where I want it. But yeah.
Well, you just get a file and a burnishing stone and start at it.
Yeah. And I'm going to start locking my stuff more. Luckily, my drawers are very easily locked. Like with that rigid kit.
Why don't you get like a little alarm? Just get you a little alarm that you like has a little key fob. They make those with batteries.
Yeah.
And if somebody opens your crap, just beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. Well, and one thing, so we had a bunch of our tools stolen. Remember we talked about that? So we did have a big tool bag we would bring everywhere, and we're in the process of rebuilding that. But now we're building it instead of a bag where it's just jumbled in the middle, and like some stuff goes on the outside pockets, It's we're rebuilding it. Rick bought a pack out kit, like some drawers, a deep drawer, and whatever. But it's very fresh and it's still being built.
Well, I'll make a suggestion. Mm-hmm. Get you an Apple AirTag.
Yeah. I think Rick's already got one in it.
Hide it in there somewhere. That's not a bad idea. Because the drills will walk off, but that whole bag won't at least.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Do I have a nugget? Let me think about this for a second. I don't know, we keep talking about like it's not a black and white, it's not a gray area, it's not a black and white thing, it's a gray thing. Like it's all like everything's a little different. Like it's trying to teach these guys like how to sand. Like it's not always the same thing. Like I don't know how to describe it to you. Like you just have to feel it.
You have
to know what you're looking for. You have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But I would say do take as much time as you can to describe and draw out things to your employees when you have them
like discuss.
Do something.
Discuss
but
why,
more importantly, what we found out is they go, yeah, I got it. And then you leave and they didn't got it. And so what you can do is say, okay, great. You understand it. Yes. Okay. Repeat it back to me. What are you going to do? And then they'll either know and they might be off by a couple things, or they might still not understand. Or that's the point where they go, well, I actually was going to ask you a question. What did you want me to do again with so-and-so? And then you explain it again. And then you say, okay, now repeat it back to me. What are you going
to do?
Yeah. And then we have a huge whiteboard that we bought that's magnetic. And we stick everything up there that they need to do that day. We write stuff on the board. I have like all kinds of little things they have to cut for future projects. I write that all on the board. Or they write it on the board. And off we go. And then it's like, look, it's right there. Then if they mess up, they can't blame it on me at least.
Yeah.
And it kind of keeps everybody motivated.
Man, we got a lot of whiteboards, but there's some like hangout like furniture in front of it that's kind of making them inaccessible.
This one's a rolling.
Now that you say that,
48.
Oh, that
84.
That's a nugget. That's a nugget for me. Rolling,
it's double-sided.
Oh yeah,
and it's double-sided, so you can roll it around, and you just keep it in the shop wherever you need it. They're a couple $100, and it's the best couple $100 we ever spent.
Right, and yeah,
magnets. You can buy those little neodymium magnets that look like little chess pieces or whatever, and they hold up your paperwork. Like I print out my schematics and everybody looks at them. I'll write cut lists, things to do today, and then the next day.
That's a great idea.
And then I've got it cut down the middle now. Stuff that's in production, stuff that needs to be done, and then they just start working on it.
Man, dude, whatever you're saying, employees nodding and saying yes. First off, Chilongo is the worst about it, but picture now throw in a language barrier, right? So Chilongo, he speaks some English, right? And but even like when I say something in Spanish, like I'll confirm with the other guy, like the full bilingual guys, like I said that right? And they're like, yeah. And he'll still just be like, yeah, sure, okay, and then keep doing it his way. And yeah, he's pretty hard headed sometimes. But yes, I get the nod, yeah, sure, and until I leave often.
Well, I think they forget.
Yeah, well, that too.
We'll have like 3 or 4 projects going on at a time. And like one guy does one thing, and then he goes out and sprays something, then he comes back in and cuts something else, and then he goes back out, and there's a lot of bouncing around, and so everybody stays busy, and they just forget,
Yeah.
And so anyway, all right. Well, I think we had a good little show without Ross Safarian.
Yeah, we don't even need Ross. Yeah, forget Ross.
Oh, I miss his silky voice.
I know, the chocolate milk voice. Ross, come back. We need you.
Shoot. There's a little chocolate milk voice. I just dropped it. Well, anyway, I hope you had a good Christmas. I know that I probably gained 10 pounds because I cooked so much stinking food. I can't even begin to tell you.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got a gym membership a few weeks ago. I've been using it a little bit, trying to do it after work.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you can get in the habit of getting up at like 4 a.m. and going to the gym when there's nobody there, and you start your day and you have your protein shake and you go work out, it takes like first week or 2, it sucks, but your body gets used to it, and then you wake up and you feel good and you sleep like a rock because you've worked out, especially if you lift weights or something. Yeah. Even if it's for 30 minutes, it feels so good, and you're getting stronger, and your endurance gets better. Your mental health is like fantastic because you're sleeping good, you're eating good, you've got a good schedule.
Yeah,
it's just hard to do to start. Like we've gotten off of it now because the kids have come, and I've had to get to work early. But when we stick to it, we feel really good.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so what? I leave for work at 6 in the morning. If I leave after,
you'd have to get up. You'd have to get up at like 3.
Well, it doesn't take me 2 hours to get ready, but yeah,
it takes. Well, I'm talking about time to work out because you got to get to the gym. So how far is the gym from your house?
Oh, there's gyms. I'm doing the Planet Fitness, so there's gyms all over Houston. Yeah,
there's one literally at the end of our block, so that's been awesome. It's like 6 minutes.
That's why I did it, because there's one right near the shop. So for days when I'm leaving peak traffic, I just go hit the gym instead of sit in traffic.
I gotcha.
But a lot of times we'll leave the shop before traffic starts, and so going to the gym then, I realized kind of after this thought process, I'd be like putting myself in the middle of peak traffic. But I was just thinking, like, I'd rather have all that for that hour, whatever long ride home, be worked out and feel good. And
I get it. If you're the kind of person that doesn't mind doing it after work, then do it after work. Do you eat lunch?
Yeah.
As long as you eat lunch, that'll work.
Right on.
All right, my man.
Cool. All right, let's get this. Wait, pulling up my notes for the outro. Here we go. Law. All right. To all the listeners out there, we hope you enjoyed every second of this episode. And be sure to smash that like and subscribe button wherever you're listening. And if you didn't like it, please send all of your complaints to our wand-wagging, forehead-scarred legal representation at Potter and Weasley Legal Partners, where the motto is, no, Ron, it's not Leviosa, it's Leviosa. From Jess, Colton, and Ross, this has been the Beater on the Bench podcast. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Woo!